settle down. The lesson begins. You believe the war ended when they walked out the door. A foolish, sentimental notion. You mistake the cessation of direct combat for peace. You have not reached the armistice. You have merely survived the opening salvo. Now, the real campaign begins. The war for reality itself. A war they will wage not on your doorstep, but in the minds of everyone you have ever known. Welcome, then, to the art of the smear campaign. This is the narcissist's scorched-earth policy. Having lost the ability to control you directly, they will settle for nothing less than the complete and utter annihilation of your reputation. It is their final, pathetic attempt to win a game you are no longer playing. They seek to poison every well, burn every bridge, and salt the very earth of your social life, so that nothing of your character can ever grow there again. Let us first dissect the construction of this particular dark art. It is a grotesque parody of storytelling, an architecture of malice built upon a single, corrupted kernel of truth. The foundation is always your reaction to their abuse. The very pain they meticulously cultivated over years becomes the cornerstone of their fiction. That email, the one you sent in a fit of righteous, agonizing fury after 7 years of torment. That is not the desperate cry of a soul pushed past its breaking point. In their telling, it is the unprovoked, monstrous attack that started it all. Your pain is not a symptom of their poison. It is presented as proof of your inherent instability. They take that single fractured piece of the story, ripped from all context, and polish it until it shines with the light of a false narrative. Upon this kernel, they build their performance. You would be astonished by the theatrics, the tears, the trembling voice, the carefully rehearsed terror they display as they recount your abuse to a new, sympathetic audience. This is the psychological principle known as DARVO at its most refined. Deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. They deny their own infidelity, their gaslighting, their exploitation. They attack your character, your sanity, your very soul. And then, the masterstroke. They reversed the roles. By the time they are finished, they will have painted a masterpiece of their own martyrdom, with you cast as the unhinged, monstrous villain. But a lie, no matter how artfully told, is powerless without believers. And so, they summon their legion. The flying monkeys do not grant these creatures more credit than they are due. They are not a grand army moved by strategy and conviction. They are hollow things, animated by the narcissist's will, and they fall into 3 distinct, pathetic categories. First, and most contemptible, are the complicit. These are the family members, the inner circle who knew. They saw the infidelity. They heard the lies. They were privy to the parallel life being lived. Your case files, the ledger of your suffering, show this with chilling clarity. The sister, aware of the deception, who later joins the chorus of condemnation. The family, posing for photographs, their gestures dripping with a shared, familial contempt. They choose the lie not out of genuine belief, but out of a pathetic sense of tribal loyalty, or worse, a mortal fear of becoming the narcissist's next target. They are the most dangerous, for they lend the lie an air of credibility it could never achieve on its own. Next are the gullible, the new partner, the casual acquaintances. Those with a heroic self-perception who are addicted to the fantasy of saving the poor, wounded victim. They do not require evidence. The narcissist's sob story is enough. They are intellectually and emotionally lazy, and they will swallow the poison willingly because it is simpler than the complex, bitter taste of the truth. They feel noble for defending what they perceive as the weaker party, never realizing they are merely props in a coward's theater. And finally, there are the fellow travelers, other narcissists, other manipulators, those who are drawn to drama like ghouls to a fresh grave. They do not care if the story is true. They simply relish the opportunity to participate in a takedown. Your destruction is their entertainment. They will amplify the lies with glee, for the suffering of others is the only thing that makes them feel truly alive. To understand the mechanics of this legion, you must look beyond mere gossip. The psychologist Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the dark, unacknowledged parts of our own psyche. The narcissist, being fundamentally incapable of self-reflection, cannot face their own shadow. They cannot admit to their own cruelty, their own deceit, their own emptiness. So they perform a vile act of psychological magic. They project it. They cast their own darkness onto you. The smear campaign is their grand, public ritual to convince the world, and most importantly themselves, that you are the embodiment of everything they despise within their own soul. You did not become their enemy. You became their shadow self, externalized and marked for destruction. And so you find yourself surrounded, isolated. The whispers follow you. You feel the urge to fight, to defend yourself, to scream the truth from the rooftops. To do so would be a fatal error. You cannot reason with a flying monkey. Its mind is not its own. To engage with them is to step back into the narcissist's trap. You will be seen as obsessed, unhinged, and desperate, confirming the very lies they have told. The defense against this dark art is not a sword, but a shield. It is a strategy of profound, unshakable, and infuriating integrity. Your first counterspell is radical indifference. When the lies reach you, you do not react, you do not defend, you do not explain. You offer a void. Your silence is a solvent that dissolves their narrative. Your calm is a mirror that reflects their hysteria. They are screaming that you are a monster while you are quietly living a life of peace. The contrast will, over time, become jarring to any observer with a shred of perception. Second, you must employ the gray rock method. If interaction is unavoidable, you become as dull and unresponsive as a stone. You give them nothing. No emotion, no information, no anger, no pain. Your life becomes a closed book, a locked dungeon. A narcissist and their legion feed on emotional reactions. You will starve them. And finally, there is the weaponization of institutions, the most cowardly blow of all. They will take your reaction, the one they so carefully engineered, threaten you with legal consequences, harassment, terroristic tactics. The law, you see, is a blunt instrument. It does not understand the nuance of a soul stretched to its breaking point. It sees only the scream, not the 7 years of silence that preceded it. As the case file states, her own father, a patriarch of the Complicit, was dispatched to threaten your mother. This is the final perversion, using systems designed for protection as instruments of abuse. Your ultimate defense against all of this is to live an unimpeachable life. While they are busy weaving their fictions, you will be busy building your reality. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This must become your mantra. While they obsess over your downfall, you will focus on your work. Rebuild your finances. Forge new, healthy connections based on mutual respect, not exploitation. The truth of your character, demonstrated over time, is the only thing that can truly disinfect their poison. Lies are fast, but truth has endurance. A liar's legion is built on a foundation of sand, held together only by the narcissist's frantic, exhausting energy. In time, the narcissist will inevitably turn on their own followers. The lies will contradict themselves. The performance will crack, and you, having never lowered yourself to their level, will remain standing. Let them have their petty, temporary victory. Let them screech their falsehoods into the void. You are no longer a piece in their game. You are the board itself. You have endured the unforgivable, and you are still here. Your survival is an act of defiance they can never comprehend. Lesson is over.